and then I drop down. I mean, I kind of remove my flip flops, throw them back into the community, land in the water, and I see a condom this big floating right next to my feet. So I didn't know what I had to be more perturbed about, the fact that there was a used condom floating next to my feet, or there was the condom this big.
Hello, hello, hello. What's up, guys? I'm your host and popcorn buddy, Chinmaya Sharma, aka Scuba Chinu, and this is Man's Life. Welcome to What's Going On. Today, we have a very special guest who's joining us all the way from down south. So, without further ado, let's bring on the very charismatic, very charming Sundeep Kishan.
Hey, man. Hey, Chinmaya. Nice.
But how's it going, man?
It's been going good, and welcome to Hyderabad virtually.
Thank you so much. How's lockdown been for you, man?
Honestly, it's been very interesting, probably. Give me time to catch up on a lot of stuff.
I heard a certain story that I've been told to ask you about is a certain car being drowned in the rain and you having to escape out of it.
Yeah, how did you get to know this? We had this floods happening in Hyderabad for this one brief period, and right outside my community, there was this one problem of waterlogging, which used to happen quite regularly. And yeah, long story short, my car became kind of a boat. I literally felt the car raise up, float back, and land back down again. I chose to jump out of the sunroof. And when I landed on the bonnet, of course, there were a lot of people outside. Then they saw how it was. They were also like, hey, what's up? And then I dropped down. I mean, I kind of remove my flip-flops, throw them back into the community, land in the water, and I see a condom this big floating right next to my feet. So I didn't know what I had to be more perturbed about, the fact that there was a used condom floating next to my feet, or there was the condom this big. And I'm like,
wow.
I know.
How is this not like a viral meme all over India? Like this is meme material.
So I just said it for the first time, so probably you should make a meme out of it. This is what happened. I was like,
Will do. Now just like the show's name, I have to ask you what's going on, and I'm going to answer that question. It's a big film releasing.
Thank you. Big in the sense, for me, it is a very, very big film in terms of, it's a very ambitious film to even try in the first place. It was the first hockey film ever made in Telugu, and it began with me having to learn to play hockey. And then we had the COVID come down, and then we had to shoot in Mohali. So that's India's #1 stadium. It's like beautiful, it's amazing. That's why Chak De was shot.
Nice.
So we wanted to shoot only there, because we wanted to keep the visual on par with whatever hockey films have come out so far, So yeah, it was a mad film to shoot. We had a blast.
And guys, please check out the film. It's called Telegu and Express. Are you excited? Theaters and the theater release, people coming back, audiences rushing back in. Are you excited, nervous, a bit of both?
I'm very, very excited. Nervous, not really. I think, to be honest, I'm somebody who usually gets very nervous about my releases, pre-release, because I'm worried. But this is one film where I've been very fortunate. It'd be my partners in the production house, Vivek Kuchapatla sir, People's Media Factory, and Abhishek Agarwal. They've gone out of their way to be very supportive, especially in times like these. We got some fantastic offers during the lockdown to come out as an OTT original. So to not give in to temptation that way, wait it out till the theatre is released. And I felt post-COVID, what people really missed and wanted today was that theatrical experience. Where it's something worth watching on the big screen with a whole set of people together. So yeah.
You were in Bombay very recently for a meeting. Is Bollywood on the cards for you, brother?
See, it's a very tough thing to specifically say is Bollywood on the cards. Because see, I've done Shore in the City, which was 10 years ago. Then right. Again a part of the family, man.
Right.
After Shore in the City, I did sign 3 really good Hindi projects, which kind of didn't happen. Something went wrong with it. And that's when I had to find a strong base, and I moved back and I kind of did my thing. The difference between then and today being, back then probably for a lot of us actors from the South or of my age group, Hindi cinema was more of a zone where we could go do something interesting, just make our presence felt and come back. But today, everything has changed. The rules have changed. There are no rules anymore, right? So I could make a kick-ass film for my languages here and still take it there, and it will work. So it is a meeting, something to do with making a Hindi, Telugu, Tamil trilingual. It's set. It's a very cool. I'm working with a very cool producer, and the project's one of my coolest projects today. I'm very excited about it. It's a mad film. It's a mad action film. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Now you were talking about there are no rules anymore, and like you said, the lines are blurring. There's not the South Indian film industry and Bollywood. Do you see a symbiotic relationship between the two industries, or do you think it's a short-term thing?
See, this was always existential. It kind of lost steam in between. Like if you see in the earlier days, there was Rajni sir was doing some big projects there. There were already some of the biggest actors up north were doing lead roles here. Sanjay Dutt sir was doing cameos in South films. So it was always a very healthy symbiotic relationship. But somewhere in between, it kind of lost steam because people were. It always changes, right? I think the industry doesn't change, but the audience's mindset changes, and you kind of have to adapt to the times, right? And today, with a lot of the digital platforms coming up and content being thrown into all the languages, it is nice to have a familiar face from one specific language. Like I at least know 5 or 6 films, good films which were offered to me, where they wanted me to play a prominent role in the film, because it was nice to have an identifiable face from that arena coming.
Right.
So I think those lines are completely blurred. Like when I was shooting for The Family Man in Kashmir.
Right.
You know, Kashmir is a place with no theatres. The internet facility is not that available. I mean, it keeps going on and off.
Right.
And the one source of entertainment for you is other TV channels. So I had like some 6 dub films of mine play 30 times over the span of 3 weeks. So every day I had at least some 20-30 people come to me and say, "Sir, aapki picture aa rahi thi, aa raha tha," you know. So now that's not something I'm going to take pride on, because there are even some really bad films of mine which have done really well, probably on the Hindi dub market. But that's a different audience. Now when you come to watch that film, you come prepared for that.
And that's amazing you said that, because you kind of walked into my next question. My next question is basically, so you see Prabhas, how he's gone from a South Indian superstar and now he's known pan-India. Is that somewhere where you'd like to bracket yourself maybe a few years from now?
See, being ambitious, everybody wants to be the best they can be, right? And there's no limitation of what your best can be. There's always, like, probably before Bahubali, none of us even knew that there was a potential of this kind of revenue to come from one film or to go this big. And they said the predecessor. And then there was a KGF, which kind of came and once again said, hey, listen, when content is strong, it will run through. Then there was an Arjun Reddy, which was just a Telugu film, but went out all through the country, right? With the same language. So today there are no rules, you know. So I think it kind of zeroes down to the content and what caters to a wider section of the audience. But the point being, today there is somebody has said a predecessor. Like Prabhas Sannap is probably the first person to come and say, hey, this is possible. Like Bahubali was a film which said this is possible. Now, do you have the guts and the the resources to be able to even try something like that is what it zeroes down to.
And you know, I kind of realized something while watching your trailer when it had come out. What do you think brings out the flavor of a film for an audience who cannot understand the language? You think subtitles are better when it's dubbed?
It depends on film to film. Like, for example, if you're going for a film like Masan,
right,
it's the subtitles. You rather stick to the performances. You need the subtitles, you just understand the language and you enjoy it that way. Or even The Family Man. Those are content which is very real to life. But the instant you're going a little more into commercial, when I say commercial cinema, I don't mean in terms of money, but I'm talking about cinema which can take a few cinematic liberties, which is meant for the larger section of the audience. Dub makes more sense. Right? It zeroes down to the audience. Now, a film like Masan is for the intelligent, the film circuit, film festival audience. Now, if you're talking about somebody in probably a smaller part of the town who just wants to go pay $100, get entertained for 2 hours and come back, I don't want him to sit and spend half his time trying to read what is written below.
Right.
I want him to get the dialogues. I want him to enjoy the songs. Now, imagine some of the, like, there's been a lot of debate where some really big filmmakers in our country say songs are not required for a film, right? And there was a point where even I got myself convinced, being a pseudo-intellectual, saying, oh no. But you look at the biggest directors in our country, all of them specialize with making songs. It's someone like Mani Ratnam.
Right.
Mani sir is known for the way, Sanjay Leela Bhansali sir, Karan Johar sir, or even Rajamouli sir. So there is an audience for it. People like it. Now we can't just go and say it doesn't work. There are films which run because a song becomes a hit. So somewhere people want to go to the theatre and watch that.
In your personal opinion, because you do speak a bunch of languages, when you see an original South Indian film, regardless of the language, being remade in Bollywood, have you preferred the OK Kalmani or the OK Janus generally?
I haven't seen OK Janu. I liked OK Kalmani. But there have been films which have done a way better job in Hindi, and there have been films which, like probably Dabang, when made as Gabbar Singh in Telugu, came out even better. Like, for example, A1 Express is actually the remake of a super hit Tamil film called Natpe Thunai. So what we had done is, we picked the script idea, which we really liked. We liked the premise. Now we worked around the script and made it bigger in span. We shot up the span of the film. Like a Kabir Singh was fantastic in Hindi. I loved it. It was as good as Arjun Reddy.
I think you nailed all of those questions. Just before we let you go, we're going to do one more trivia and see how well you know your GK of the film industry. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. All right. So, what was the name of Aishwarya Rai's first Tamil film, which is also incidentally her... Sorry?
Iruvar.
Damn, you didn't even let me complete the question. Just bam! Sick. Okay, lovely. How many Hindi films has Ram Charan done?
One.
Do you know which one?
Tufan.
Sorry?
Janjeer. In Telugu it was called Tufan. In Hindi it was Janjeer.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have got tougher questions, man. The guy just nailing all of them back now. Okay. Rani Mukherjee and Vivek Oberoi star Satya was a remake of which South Indian film?
Alai Payude.
Can you say that again, please?
Alai Payude.
And now the last two questions. Second last is, do you know the combined budget of both the Bahubali films together?
I have a rough estimate. I don't think I really know.
We'll give you 50 crores up and down.
450. 400 crores.
450 is the answer I have on my sheet.
It's important for you to know your shit. I mean, like if I'm working here, I need to know what's happening. I think as an actor, the only way I grow is by understanding what's happening around me, right?
Nice. And the last question we have for you before we let you go is, do you know, I'm sure you're going to nail this answer also, Rajnikant sir's real name?
Shivaji Rao Gaikwad.
That's 5 for 5, man. That is 5 for 5.
I'm glad. I'd be ashamed of myself if I didn't know the answer to these questions, you know. I'd be like, oh shit, did I just do that?
On that note, I want to thank you so much from my side, from the side of Man's Life, for being part of this show, taking out time, and I want to wish you success and nothing less for all your future endeavors, especially A1 Express.
Do watch A1 Express. I believe
100%.
you really liked it. And thank you for taking time out. It was a pleasure chatting. It was fun. We had like a mad fun conversation. And I hope some of the things you said would come true. I'm not going to say which ones, but...
And that was the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did, but stick around for lots more coming up on auto, lifestyle, sports and entertainment right here on manslife.in.